It's Mike. That's right.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, hey. Well, look at this. We're at Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The last place on earth. It's episode 2773, 2773. Palindrome was the word that was not coming to me. I mean, I don't know. Do you have that problem where you're reaching for a word and you can't get to them? No matter what you try, it's off there somewhere. You can't get to it.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's all right. Oh, so hey, thank you for joining me here at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth,
Podcast.
in the fine town of Rootabega.
Yeah!
And yes, people and their cars. In California, cars. We have cars. Oodles and oodles of cars. Everybody needs a car. People are living in their cars. People are driving and honking and getting mad at each other in their cars. People are cutting off each other in the cars. People are stopping at stoplights and never going even though it's green in their cars. Well, the high cost of new cars has been a thing with buyers since COVID-19 disrupted the global economy. Remember that? There was no way to get the new technology that you needed in the car. The car makers couldn't get to it. It was inaccessible, so the cars went up in price. Used cars went up in price because the demand. Well, now new cars are becoming more affordable. The average cost of a new car in the U.S. is roughly $47,000. Oh my word. What? Dang. That's about 4 times what I paid for my used car. That price, $47,000, is up $10,000 from the pre-pandemic levels.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I did not take a car. I never take a car when I go to San Francisco, ever. And my wonderful cousin that you hear at the beginning of the podcast and her boyfriend were visiting from Germany, and we hopped on BART and went to the city and walked around there. That's from Pier 39, taking a looking out towards Fisherman's Wharf. And there's a Ferris wheel now there. Yeah, Ferris wheel. So we're like all the other big major touristy spots across the world, like London and some other, there's other ones, right, that have Ferris wheels. I immediately can't think of any. There's the late great Basil the Boxer, never was on a Ferris wheel, but he would be happy. He did meet the wonderful Anki, my cousin, and we walked with him many. Oh, you know, that was interesting because she is as much a shutterfly as I am, and she was sharing pictures with me from the last time she was visiting 12 years ago. And I forgot she stayed with us for 4 weeks. And if you have a guest come visit you from outside the country and stay with you in California, now you've got things you need to do. Well, not only do you have to clean the house, but you also need to take them to places that are well known in California.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
Because I live in California?
Oh.
I am insulted by your laugh, sir. Who is that guy? Yeah, so we have all these things. Like, we had to take her to Yosemite. We had to, well, not that we had to, but, you know, it was a good excuse for us to be tourists, too, I should say. We didn't go to Disneyland. We didn't go to Universal Studios, but we did go down to Los Angeles and walked around Hollywood. So she got to see that. She got to see the beach in Santa Monica. But this trip was only 2 days, so it was very abrupt. We had to go to, basically just hung out in San Francisco and left. But driving into San Francisco is going to cost you like $30 to park. Maybe your car will get broken into. But that higher price that we're paying now for new cars combined
Danger,
with...
Will Robinson, danger.
Yeah, combined with the higher interest rates, created car payments about 33% higher than pre-pandemic. The average price of a new car has dropped almost $3,000, though. It has dropped $3,000 from the highs, and buyers can expect 3% or $1,500 to come out of car prices in the year ahead. 15.5 million new cars were sold in 2023, up about a million, up from 13.9 million in 2022. Almost 2 million more cars were sold in 2023. Before COVID-19, before COVID-19 rather, 17 million new cars were being sold a year. So we still haven't gotten up to that level yet. But hey, you got to shop around. Like I was talking about shopping around for cable providers, and guess what? I did, and I found a new one, and I've told Xfinity to take a hike. I am done with you, Comcast. Oh yeah, and what's this about? Once upon a time, because Comcast owns Peacock, which is NBC and all
Hey,
those...
good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later.
Mr. Microphone. All those great shows that you find. Well, Poker Face was the one we like to watch. It was the one designed specifically for streaming with Natasha Lyonne, but it had a bunch of interesting guests like Ron Perlman and Benjamin Bratt. And the guy, Jason Gordon-Levitt, and all the others. Is it Joseph Gordon? Anyway, Café Anyway, I can't think of any celebrity names at the moment. The guy who played the mailman from Cheers, he was also on one of the episodes. And they use language, but it was an interesting concept. She can detect when anyone is lying. You cannot use a poker face around her because she knows you're lying. As we go outside a Cafe Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth here in Ameritopica. Oh,
Anyway.
That's right, Cafe Anyway. So what I discovered is that I don't really need Comcast anymore because I can't watch the Poker Face. They're charging me now to watch Poker Face, even though I had to sit through a bunch of ads to watch it. So we move on. We find other programs because there are so many programs to watch. Just like there are so many podcasts to listen to. Let's see. I'm going to get to this story possibly at the end about how I had to babysit someone, a grown person. We will get to that story in a moment, but first, car prices coming down, but home prices hit a high last year. It grew 6% in December, which was more quickly than usual at the end of 2023 to finish at an all-time high home prices. The median new home price in January of this year was $420,000, a little over that. It's a side effect of the market for existing homes that dried up as mortgage rates rose. For the whole year, 2023 saw homes up about 5%, which exceeded the average annual home price gains over the past 35 years. Now we look at 2021, home prices were up 2020 they were up 10%, but prices grew mostly quickly in San Diego, Los Angeles, and Detroit, up 8% than levels a year ago. Prices grew the most slowly, though,
It's a trap!
Yeah, in this town, which you might think is a trap. Portland. No, that's okay, depending on what part of Portland you're in. Dallas and Denver. Prices grew slowly there with growth between 0.3 and 2.3%. So all that information from Rob Black. I produce his podcast, and he does a cool money show weekday mornings, 8 o'clock on AM 1220 KDOW, and then he's also on TV on Kron Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. Bitcoin is going crazy because of the ETFs. European and U.S. central banks warn that there are risks and that the fair value of Bitcoin is still zero. Yet, Bitcoin has gained more than 30% since the start of the year. I am still too scared to gamble on Bitcoin. Maybe you are a gambler. Maybe you are fearless. And you're getting some rewards, 30% up. But yeah, I don't know.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. That was a very nice long You never hear me say do you? Very rarely. I would stay away from it, but I don't know. I'm not an expert in this world. But they are saying, just take this this is the pinch of salt. This is the little bit of salt. This is the, what do they call it? We say a pinch of salt. In England, they say just with salt. I don't think they mediate it at all. Lessen it at all. They just say, take it with some salt. But here's what the salt is. European and U.S. central banks are saying that the fair value of Bitcoin is zero. So you're paying all this money for it. Because now, if you're going to buy it, it's way up there.
Yeah, how's the mic, Mike?
Because it has surged to $57,000, and that is the highest since 2021. And I remember during COVID, when COVID first started, a coworker saying, I am going to invest in Norwegian Cruise Lines. Well, Norwegian Cruise Line stock has soared after earnings. Demand is at record levels. So he was he had to wait 4 years, but eventually he was right. And I think he got some kind of discount on cruises, Norwegian cruises, if he bought the stock back then. Oh, that was part of it. Leaving Comcast, the competing cable company, internet provider, was offering all kinds of incentives. Like all this money. Now, if we're actually going to see this money, it'll probably come in the form of
the Haley moment of the week.
Credit card. Gift card. That was the Haley moment of the week. Let's hear it for Haley, who used to be on the podcast all the time. So, yes, I guess what I'm saying is that we'll see what kind of if these incentives come to fruition and if we're happy campers. But this same company is doing all these incentives lately, and I have not said the name, but you can probably guess, because a week ago they had a massive outage. So they're trying to get customers. We'll see if they have any more big outages. All I know is that Comcast Xfinity was completely off in my neighborhood for the whole day on Monday. The last day I would want that to happen is on a Monday, because so much is going on a Monday, and they did it to me. So we'll see if AT&T, the other company, is just as bad. Hey, Starbucks is releasing a pork-flavored coffee drink in China.
Why the hell did I yelp that?
It costs 68 won, which is $10. It was released in honor of the Lunar New Year, which I missed in San Francisco this past weekend because things were going weird at my work and I had to remote in and help. Also, I was super tired after my cousin was visiting. And Adidas sells another batch of Yeezy sneakers left over from the breakup with Kanye in October 2022 over his anti-Semitic and other offensive comments. So get them while they're hot, or if you don't want them, then don't get them, because you may not agree with that guy or like him much. But there you go. I don't know. What I'm telling you outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley, is a Wookiee, and it's a lady. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? I brought my horse Dilly.
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
They took Trump off the ballot in Illinois. Now that's ridiculous.
Well, this is still all going to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is mostly Republican, so This probably won't last very long, but yes, that is a thing. Taking the person off the ballot.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Particularly if they're an insurrectionist. I love when people try and explain when someone is not an insurrectionist. Well, they did want a bunch of people to break into the Capitol, but they're not an insurrectionist. That's just loosely throwing around terms. What's this bird over here? Quack. Kind of sounds like what's that bird? Quack. It's like an Affleck bird. Quack, quack, quack. Let's see. He kind of sounds like a duck. Quack. Kind of looks like a duck. Quack, quack, quack. Now he's an insurrectionist. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, I make delicious root beer. Have some right now. Oh, this is so good. It made me sound all wheezy like Muttley for a moment, but it was good. Thank you, Brewmaster. What's in there? Mike, I make delicious root beer. I'm the Brewmaster. Oh, boy. I put root beer in your root beer mug.
What is the matter with you?
Drink it right now. I'll kill you.
Wow, that's a change. Root beer in the root beer mug. So I had to babysit someone today when I was at work. You ever have to babysit somebody? I don't know, in your job? Just kind of entertain them in your office for a while? And it was funny because later somebody said, hey, I'm sorry you had to babysit them. I'm thinking, wow. See, and I never had any professional babysitting experience in my younger years. Because as a teenager, that's what the young teenage ladies do, is do the babysitting. Every woman I ever dated told me, oh, yeah, when I was a teenager, I used to do babysitting.
What was that all about?
No, listen, I'm sorry you're off the ballot, sir, but hey, I don't know what that's all about. So that's what I have found in this great, big, huge world, is there's often a lot of questions being asked about what is that all about? And maybe we can find out an answer together, but not on today's podcast. Today, we did hear some things that were helpful, useful, interesting. Am I going to run out and buy a car right now? No. But maybe looking at the used car websites, maybe the prices are coming down just a tad if you need a vehicle. So that is it for now. I would like to tell you, here's where you can call me if you have any disagreements or agreements. Heck, we'll take both of them. Even a grievance or a non-grievance or an grievance. Here's where to call.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
Hi there, Mike. How are you?
I'm good because the podcast is over, and here with more information about how to contact me, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.